The rain poured hard that night. The city streets were nearly empty, except for one car parked by the side of the road, its hazard lights blinking faintly in the storm. Inside sat a woman, shivering, clutching her leg and whispering through tears, "Please. I can't walk." She was a CEO, powerful, respected, feared by some, but in that moment, she was just human, helpless, and alone. Until a man she had fired 3 months ago pulled over beside her. Hey everyone, welcome back to Heartthreads USA, where real stories remind us that kindness still exists. If you love stories that warm your heart and make you believe in humanity again, hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Now, let's dive into this story that proves, sometimes, the people we least expect can be our greatest angels. The woman's name was Victoria Hale. At 43, she was the CEO of a tech firm worth millions. Known for her discipline and perfection, people called her Iron Hale. She built her empire from scratch, but her success came at a cost: loneliness, exhaustion, and a reputation for being cold. 3 months ago, she had laid off dozens of employees during a company downsizing. One of them was Mark Davis, a single dad who had worked tirelessly in the maintenance department. Mark didn't argue when he was let go, he just packed up his things, thanked her for the opportunity, and walked away quietly. That memory never bothered Victoria until that stormy night. She was driving home after a long, stressful day when a delivery van skidded on the slick road and clipped the back of her car. The impact sent her vehicle spinning. It hit the curb hard, trapping her leg between the console and the seat. Her phone was dead. Her voice trembled as she whispered to herself, "Please, someone help." Cars passed by, splashing through puddles, headlights flashing, but no one stopped. Until an old pickup truck slowed beside her. The driver stepped out, his jacket soaked within seconds. Through the blur of rain, she saw a familiar face. It was Mark Davis. "Miss Hale," he shouted over the rain, wiping water from his eyes. "Are you okay?" She blinked, unable to believe it. The man she once dismissed without a second thought was now standing there, reaching for her car door. "My leg," she stammered, her voice cracking. "I can't walk." Without hesitation, Mark pulled off his jacket, wrapped it around her, and said softly, "Hang on. I'll get you out." He braced his hands against the door and yanked with all his strength until it creaked open. Victoria winced in pain as he carefully slid his arms under her and lifted her out. She clung to him, trembling, feeling the warmth of his kindness through the cold rain. He placed her gently into his truck, cranked up the heater, and said, "We're going to the hospital." The drive was silent for a while, except for the rhythmic beat of the wipers. Victoria's eyes filled with tears, but not just from pain. Shame, confusion, and gratitude swirled inside her. "You didn't have to stop," she finally said quietly. Mark smiled faintly. "Of course I did. You needed help." "But she paused, her voice trembling, "I fired you." He looked at her kindly. "Yeah, you did. But that doesn't mean I stopped being human." Those words hit her harder than the crash ever could. At the hospital, Mark stayed until the doctors confirmed she had a fractured leg. When she was finally settled in a room, he turned to leave. "You don't have to stay," she said. "You've done more than enough." But Mark just smiled again. "My daughter's with her grandma tonight. I've got time. You shouldn't be alone." Victoria's throat tightened. For years, she had prided herself on not needing anyone. But now, the presence of this man she had once overlooked brought her a strange sense of peace. Over the next few days, Mark visited her daily. He brought coffee, homemade soup, even flowers his daughter picked from their garden. They really talked, for the first time. She learned that Mark had been raising his 7-year-old daughter, Lily, alone since his wife passed away 2 years ago. He worked long hours just to make ends meet, and losing his job at her company had nearly broken him. "I didn't blame you," he said one afternoon. "You were doing what you had to do. Life's hard sometimes." Victoria couldn't believe the humility in his tone. No bitterness, no resentment, just quiet strength. Weeks passed, and Victoria recovered. But something inside her had changed. She couldn't stop thinking about Mark's kindness, the man who had every reason to walk away but chose compassion instead. When she was finally discharged, she invited Mark and Lily to dinner to thank them properly. Lily, with her big blue eyes and pigtails, ran around the restaurant laughing. "Daddy says you're his boss lady," she giggled. Victoria smiled for the first time in weeks. "Not anymore," she said softly. "But maybe soon again." After dinner, Victoria offered Mark his job back. But this time, she didn't want him just in maintenance. She created a new role for him, Community Care Coordinator, a position designed to help struggling employees with personal or financial challenges. Because kindness, she said, shouldn't be rare in a company that calls itself human. Mark was speechless. "You don't have to do this." "I know," she said, smiling warmly. "But I want to." Under Mark's leadership, the program flourished. Employees who once felt invisible now had someone to turn to. Mental health resources improved. Work-life balance became a priority. The company's culture transformed, and so did Victoria. Months later, she gave a speech at a corporate conference. Her voice was steady, but her eyes glistened with emotion. "I used to think success was about power and numbers," she said. Then one rainy night, someone I'd once overlooked reminded me that success means nothing without compassion. He showed me that one act of kindness can change everything, even a heart that thought it didn't need saving. The audience rose to their feet. Mark, sitting in the front row with Lily beside him, smiled proudly. Afterward, Victoria knelt beside Lily and said, "You have a wonderful dad." Lily grinned. "He says kindness is like a boomerang, it always comes back." Victoria's eyes filled with tears. "He's right." As the months turned into a year, Victoria became close to Mark and Lily. They shared dinners, holidays, laughter, the kind of simple joy she had long forgotten. She often found herself sitting on their porch, sipping coffee while Lily played with her dog in the yard. It wasn't about gratitude anymore. It was about friendship and family. Sometimes, life's cruelest moments are the ones that lead us to the people who heal us. One rainy night had changed everything, not just for Victoria, but for everyone around her. Her company became a place where kindness wasn't just encouraged, it was the foundation of everything. And as for Victoria, she learned that true leadership isn't about standing above others. It's about standing with them, especially when the storm hits. So the next time you see someone struggling on the road, in your office, or even in your own home, remember Mark's words, "That doesn't mean I stop being human." Because sometimes, one simple act of kindness can rescue more than a person, it can rescue a soul. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Heart Threads USA, and share it with someone who needs a reminder that kindness still exists. Together, we can make the world just a little softer, one story at a time.